Hey guys, welcome to Start in this piece and we'll go back to another video.
I've dreaming about you.
Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. I just had a mini dilemma where I used a white backdrop. Like I used like a something to like get rid of this blue, because I remember the last video with this I said I didn't like it, but it made me look disgusting. I guess because the white like really like messed with my skin tone. So like obviously I'm breaking out and you could see all of my beautiful blemishes. However, with the white, it like really enhanced it. I wish I could show you guys, but it was a little too embarrassing for me to show. I was like a little depressed for like 0.2 seconds. I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm sure I look like that to some people, but like that white background really freaking enhanced a lot of issues that I have with myself. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I'm trying to figure out this scar situation. I'm literally making this video right now fully aware of the problems it might cause for me in the future. But I'm still gonna make it anyway, because content, right? Honestly, this shouldn't make that many problems though, because I'm not gonna be bad-mouthing anybody. I honestly don't plan on it, right? So, I'm like all over the place because I have not made a video in like such a long time, especially like this. So this is a story time. It's more of like a, I don't know, because honestly, like riding the wave of how I was a Louis Vuitton client advisor might like help me gain some traction on this platform. Because I don't know about you, but like I mentioned in my last video, I used to look at videos like this all the time, like what to do if you're a Louis Vuitton client advisor, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know how long I'm gonna ride this wave and like make videos about this type of job, but it creates a lot of engagement, so you never know. As of right now, this is like the only video that I had planned to make, like in addition to like my day in my life. But who knows, I might create more videos. Anyway, a story time of what it was like to work as a Louis Vuitton client advisor. Before I get further, I have a really big announcement. I started a podcast. Now, like I mentioned before, I've started things before and just haven't really continued with it and just kind of like stopped midway or like kind of gave up. And so this one I'm like pushing myself to work more with, because I'm really like invested in the topics that we talk about and I'm really interested about it. And I have my friend who you've seen before, Celine, with me on the ride. Right now, she's not able to join every episode, but every episode that I can get her, I am. You guys should follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have Apple Podcasts or Spotify, subscribe there as well. Leave a review, comment, whatever you want to do. We do have a website. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys are interested. I really hope you guys enjoy that type of content. And hey, you never know, it might be a new favorite podcast of yours that you might start binge listening to. I don't know. We're only on episode 4 at this point. It's called Interstellar Introspections. Really fun, psychological content. We also dive into like hot topics whenever we have the chance. So I really hope you guys get a chance to listen to that, and I appreciate all the support. Back to the main plot line of today's episode, which is me working at Louis Vuitton Storytime. You know, I just wanted to take time in this video to really just dissect and discuss how my experience was. And not, you know, Louis Vuitton is a very, very nice brand, right? Obviously, like other than it being a luxury fashion brand, a lot of people talk about the benefits that come with working for an LVMH brand. And trust me, there are a lot, like discounts with Apple products, discounts with like other like big companies. I can't really think of, there was like discounts at like Macy's, like at some like things, and then obviously like interchangeable discounts between like Dior, Louis Vuitton, like certain aspects of that, like certain makeups with Dior and stuff like that. But besides that, like also like the actual like benefits of like insurance, health insurance, stuff like that, I've heard were pretty good. I'm really young, so like, and not just I'm really young, because that doesn't really matter. You could still like start like investing in those types of things. But I had a plan with my like health insurance, stuff like that with my school, so I didn't really look into stuff like that, or like 401ks or anything like that. Also, my time with the brand was very short, so I didn't really look into any of that, but I've heard really good stuff about it. So this is in no way a video to like harp on the negatives of the brand. However, I had some negatives in the brand. And it had nothing to do with the brand. It really just had to do with what it's like being a luxury fashion client advisor. Like if you guys don't know, hi, my name is Star. And I worked for Louis Vuitton. I don't know if I mean the location, Fifth Avenue location. I was like, should I say the location that I was like, I think I did in the last video because it was Day of My Life, and like the stores, there's only a few of them in the world, so like if you know what it looks like, you know which one it is, so there's no point in keeping it a secret. So it was like one of the biggest stores in the country, and I was blessed to have the opportunity to work there. It was a great opportunity, and I loved every learning moment of it, and I met some really great people there. However, there were some drawbacks, and I think it's just my personality. Like, I just really am not the pushy type of people. Like, when you hear salesperson, a lot of times you think of like, oh, the lying, like manipulating, like, blah, 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 like that type of person. And I would like to say I'm not that type of person. And I work in other sales, like, related aspects, and so that's where I wanted to try this out, to like kind of grow with it. But I realized that this field of retail and like sales isn't like growth. I mean, it is, but it's also like a completely different field. Obviously, it's growth because it requires more attentiveness towards your clients and like building that relationship. But it's more than just that. It really is a completely different field. And working in that field completely turned me off of that field. Working at Louis Vuitton, these clients, like especially where the location I was in, it wasn't like, it was like so fast paced, yet it was like you had to spend time with them because they didn't want to feel rushed, and then they would rush you. And then, you know, especially like the ruder clients, like I thought that going into like luxury fashion, I would deal with like clients that were a little bit more level-headed because they're spending a lot of money. You would think they would be a little bit more, not just knowledgeable about what they're doing, but just like not so rude about it, because like they're spending a lot of money. They're, you know, they want a luxurious experience, so they're not going to hurt that by being, you know, like rude or whatever. But no, I'm letting you know right now firsthand, if anything, the clients working in my experience at least were a lot worse than working in where I work now in sales. That's like a little like, that's like, I'm like gonna be all over the place with this video. There's really no line I have. I kind of just turned my camera on and I was like, I gotta do this, because if I don't make myself do this now, I'm never gonna do it. And I did have like some points that I wanted to go over. So like the main one would be just like, it isn't gonna get any easier. Like, at least, I mean, I was there for a short period of time, so maybe like over the years it gets easier, because once you build a client book, you don't have to worry about people coming in to try and make your sales goals and getting lucky with like walk-in sales. Like, you can just call your people and like you sold $100,000, like bam, like that easy. But like for me, like obviously I wasn't steeping enough in the brand to grow my client book as much as like someone who has been there like 3 years or even a year to just reach in my client book and like sell someone $100,000. My first like issue is that, not my issue, just like my issue with luxury retail is that the clients aren't easier. They're harder, if anything. Which, I mean, I guess makes sense because they're spending a lot more money. They probably want you to do more for them. But I also think like we're human, and like, I don't know, we're just humans. Like, what is the point of like freaking, like, I don't know. Basically what I'm trying to say is this video is not just a story time. This is a story time. What would I call this? My experience working as a Louis Vuitton client advisor. There we go. That's the title. Okay, so I guess I should make this a little bit more organized. After 10 minutes in, I'm gonna forget to edit it. Okay, so like number one, right? Clients are not different than like average, like, so like the way that I look at sales in like retail, I guess you could say, right? There's like the way I would describe it, like I'm not saying these are official terms, but like just so you could visualize it, I would say like low quality, average, high end, prestigious, and luxury, right? And like it's funny because Louis Vuitton uses the word high end as like higher than luxury, but like just for the sake of like we're on the same page, that's how I kind of look at like, right? So working in luxury, the consumers are a lot different than even like obviously like low quality, average, and high end, and even prestigious, honestly. And I didn't like it. So that was like one. Two, it is very demanding. Like, I said this in my last video, like, it just wasn't for me. Like, when they told me in the interview, like, letting you know, like, can you handle this as a full-time college student and a full-time employee? I was like, oh yeah, like, no problem. Well, especially with me commuting, like, it was a problem. And I learned my lesson. And you know what? Sometimes we make mistakes and we overestimate and underjudge ourselves. Yeah, and so I did that, and I am very stupid, and I admit to that. It was a very demanding job. You didn't have to work when you weren't on the clock, but if you didn't work when you weren't on the clock, you could miss vital sales that people were texting you about over the phone. And it's just like, you know, I just don't have time for that type of job, because at the end of the day, they don't care about me. And so why am I going to put that much energy into a job that just wants the 110% of you when they only give like 100%? Or not, like, I mean, because like I said, people really like, you know, the benefits and, you know, elevating reaches the company. So I'm not saying they're not doing 100%, but they expect like 110% out of you and don't even give 105. So at least that was my experience. Again, I'm just speaking about me. It's very, like I said, it's very fast paced, like it's like fast, slow pace. Because they want you to spend time with the clients to build that relationship, but they also want you to move quickly into the next client to get their numbers up. And again, I think it all depends on the person you're working with, because I would like to say, like, I am very good with customer service. I've been in it for like 6 years now. If the customer is nice to me, if they're not so nice to me, I'm not confrontational, but I also don't put energy into it. So like, if someone's rude to me, I'm just not gonna engage, and I'll be very like quiet and not talkative, because why am I gonna engage in negative energy? And then like a third point that I would say is like quality of life and mental health, right? So because you are working so hard and heavy, pause, in this job, you really decline in other aspects. I remember I would come home and my cousin would be like, oh my goodness, you look dead, right? And mind you, I'm pretty young still. I mean, I feel very old, and I hate that I'm aging. But I mean, compared to like other people that I was working with, I was the youngest person there. And that's not to say, you know, whatever, but that's just saying, like, for my age, I should be a lot more energetic than I am. And maybe it's to me drinking like 3 cups of coffee a day, and my body's not used to like living by itself now without coffee or anything like that. Interesting experience. And honestly, the way this video went is exactly how my job was with Louis Vuitton. Just all over the place, a little unorganized, and just really demanding. This video feels like it's very demanding of me right now because I just don't have the energy. But besides all of the negatives, I do want to speak about some positives, because I'm not here to bash Louis Vuitton and the brand and my job, because I enjoyed what I learned from it. Top 3 positives about the brand that I would say are the benefits, obviously, like I keep mentioning, and I think that that's a really good perk. If you're going to be working really hard, at least you should get something out of it other than just the pay, because honestly, and the commission isn't even that great. I mean, during the holiday season, it was pretty nice, you know, but it really depends on, obviously, the sales that you make. It's like different percentages per item you sell. It's like, I don't want to get the numbers wrong, but it's like 0.01% or something like that for like canvas, and then 0.03 for like leather goods or something like that. I don't even remember, honestly, but it was like something very small. And then another positive that I would say, something new every day. There was always something new going on, whether it was a new event, a new launch, new people coming in. Like, I only got to meet a handful of like famous people, but I didn't even meet them. I just saw them, because obviously when you're working in that type of atmosphere, you don't want to harbor the people that come in and like they're there for a nice shopping experience. So like, we don't just go crazy about the people that come in. Obviously there's chitter chatter around the store, and like this store in particular, like there was many different floors. So like if someone was on floor 3, word got around pretty quickly, and you might be on floor 1 and they're on floor 14 or whatever, but like, you know, they're in the building. Because it's such a iconic brand that makes innovative things, it's cool to be a part of something bigger than you. Stuff that big, like to be a part of it, and like it's all over social media, and you can say that you like saw it firsthand, is very interesting. Things like the launch of a new product that go viral or something like that, and then you hear people talking about, oh, I saw like Nicki Minaj with this thing, and you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, I've actually held that myself. Like, I think that's kind of cool. especially being in the Fifth Avenue location, you saw a lot of things that like were like one in the world type of stuff. Like, this is the only one in the world. Like, that was kind of cool. And then my third perk, I would say, is diversifying myself. I'm very versed in like skincare and cosmetics, as you guys know, my like skincare videos. And so going into like fashion, especially, I swear I have like a speech problem. And I said that before, but like I stutter a lot. Like I don't know, but I'm serious. Like, anyway, that's not important right now. Especially luxury fashion, that's what I was saying. It was just very fun to learn new things and new cultures and a new art form of fashion. Like, I've never sold and worked in fashion before, and so that was a very invigorating time to learn all these new terms and new stitchings and types of leather and all this stuff. And I love learning, as you guys know. If you listen to my podcast, you'll know it's a very informative podcast. So definitely love learning and exploring new things. So that was definitely 100% a perk of the job. A lot of those positives and negatives, though, like I mentioned, aren't really about the brand itself, nor about the people that I worked with, but more of just, I guess, my personality not mixing well with the atmosphere of luxury fashion and retail. And, you know, it's just not for everybody. So I'm making this video to kind of warn people that make sure you're up for the challenge. It's very, very different if you're not used to something like that. And if you are, it's perfect for you. Take it by the horns, I think that's the saying or something. You just gotta really take control, take lead. And I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not much of like a leader per se. Like, I'm just like, I'm an individual, or I'm like not a follower, but I'm like either a teamwork person or I'm like an individual. I'm not much of like a leader. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I don't have an interest in leading at this moment in my life. I'm more of like a focus on myself, or I'll help like work the team together. But like, I don't want to lead someone in a direction, because we're all human, we'll all make mistakes. Like, I have no interest in leading you in a wrong path. And also, I have no interest in taking charge of certain situations. So like, I think that if you are more of a leader and are more of like a take charge person, this is a perfect job for you, because it's a lot where you have to like just think on your toes and like be in charge and like be strong and assertive with your demeanor and persona. And that's just not me. And I think that's just why it didn't work out. Yeah, that's really my experiences working as a Louis Vuitton client advisor in Fifth Avenue, New York. Now, I met a lot of great people there. A lot of people I still talk to this day that I really support. And if I ever get the money to shop, I will definitely be shopping from them again. And, you know, I have a lot of other content that I can make from this. Like I said, this video is kind of messy in the sense of like the organization of it, because I kind of just did it off the whim. But now thinking about it, like, I could make a video of like what and what not to do to client advisors and stuff like that. Because even though I worked there for a short period of time, I experienced so much. I feel like obviously not as much as the person that's worked there for like 10 years or whatever, but I definitely experienced a lot more than I thought I would. And so I have a lot of things I would like to talk about if you guys are interested. Obviously this channel is not going to freaking turn into a freaking Louis Vuitton channel, but if the more videos I can get out of it, the better. And I mean, hey, it's interesting to talk about. Like I said, I was looking at videos like this all the time when I was applying for this type of job. So if this could help somebody avoid the worst mistake of their life or get the best decision they've ever made, hey, I did something. I mean, I had some issues with like some of the managers that I work with, but that's like a TTT, and I don't really want to be spilling tea about anybody, because I respect everybody that was working there, because I saw how crazy it was, and you realize how much they go through. So it's like, I don't want to be dogging on anybody that might just, you know, have been struggling themselves. But I will say that some managers there definitely were a lot unorganized. Some people got treated a little differently. I'll leave it at that. I definitely have heard worse things from people that I worked with there that felt a little mistreated based on certain aspects, if that makes sense. I wonder if being vague is better than being direct, because sometimes if you be vague, people can misconstrue what you say. But if I be direct, that could also cause problems, or I could just leave this part out entirely. But I feel like it's important to talk about, because it's letting you know, like, it's not the dream, it's not the tea, unless you are willing to put in the work. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a long time since I've made a video like this. And yeah, I don't have a lot of video ideas as of right now. I'm kind of taking on a new path in life. Always evolving, always changing. I'm also starting this podcast thing. So videos, videos are never, constant with me anyway. So yeah, I don't know when my next video is gonna be, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, keep your heads up high, and I'll definitely be seeing you guys next time. And now I have to deconstruct all of this down, the lighting and everything. I still don't like this blue, but like I said, when I put up the white, I look gross. So maybe I'll buy a black screen or something.